Welcome again to the companion of the companion podcast, the Megavision Sideshow, where we stray away from gaming news and what we've been planned to talk about just one movie, TV show, or maybe a game, maybe a genre. But joining me today is the king of virtual play, Corey, aka TornadoeJones.
Would you like to play a game?
And I am the manager of the Turbo Play Virtual Excitement Arcade, Scotty Mo. So today, we are talking about the 1995 hit Evolver, which is, to sum it up here thanks to IMDb, a popular virtual reality video game gets ported to real life, and Kyle, one of the best Evolver players in the U.S., gets the opportunity to try playing against a little robot version of the arcade game. However, Evolver is programmed to win at all costs, and the match between Kyle and Evolver gradually becomes a frantic struggle for survival. And we'll go through the cast of characters here, which I think when we watch this, we think, oh, isn't that... No, that's somebody else, for almost literally everyone else in this film. Starring, he was credited as Ethan Randall, but later was credited in everything else as Ethan Embry. He's probably only known for his starring role in the movie Can't Hardly Wait. Cassidy Ray is really known for nothing. Oh, are you going to say something there, Corey?
Well, I remember him from National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation, because he was the National Lampoon, especially the first four with the ones that have Chevy Chase. They're notorious for the kids always having, the mom and the dad were always the same people playing the same characters, but the kids were always the same characters, but rotating actors all the time.
Oh, okay.
And in Vegas Vacation, he plays Chevy Chase's son. I can't remember what his son's name is, but yeah, that's the only thing out of his list on IMDb. That's the only thing I was like, oh, I remember him from that, and that was it.
Okay. Yep. He's known for apparently Sweet Home Alabama, Empire Records, which is a great movie. That Thing You Do. He was the bassist in The Thing You Do. And then the horrible movie Timeline. Yeah. Cassidy Ray, not really... No, the things on IMDb, it says Lying Eyes. Extreme Days was the last thing she did in 2001.
There's not much.
Yeah. The mom in this, she was also the mother in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you might recognize her face. Her name was Cindy Pickett, or it still is Cindy Pickett. And then probably the most notable actor, John Day Lancie. He's best known for his role as Q in Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, really?
Yes. I kept thinking, whenever I first saw this movie and then knew who these actors were, I was like, is that James Woods? That's not James Woods.
No,
because he has he has the same long face and sort of just always either always thinking or always pissed off idle face.
It's the lips too. James Woods has very weird lips like this guy does too.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so not really any big names or anything, or people that go into bigger stuff. But and we'll just go into it overall and talk about our first impressions real quick. I will say that I learned of this movie literally just stumbling across it on the Sci-Fi Channel one day, forever ago. Yeah, and it took me a little bit of hunting when I did finally buy this movie for $8 on eBay. To find a DVD copy, even it's way easier now. We just found it on
Blu-ray?
YouTube. Yeah. Let's take a look and find out. But was this your first viewing of it, Corey?
Yes. You are very good at bringing movies I never knew existed to my radar, and I was very skeptical with this movie because our track record on the Sideshow has not been great recently.
Right.
Minus Jingle All the Way. I love Jingle All the Way. But Evolver, I was watching it last night, and I was sitting down, just be like, all right, let's get ready for this crap show that's about to happen. And I'm watching it. I'm like, at the end of it, I was just like, I'm not gonna, we're gonna go through it throughout the podcast. But at the end of it, I was like, that. I even said to myself, I was like, wasn't bad. I got some parts where I remember going through it. I remember there was a couple parts that actually made me laugh out loud. Mm-hmm. There were a couple parts I was like, that was smart. And then there were a couple parts where I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah. Looking up the Blu-ray now, or trying to. There is no Blu-ray, but I remember now why I had a hard time finding this was because there's a movie called Revolver, starring Jason Statham, and then another thing that kept popping up was the Velvet. Where'd it go now? Velvet Revolver, live in Houston, Blu-ray disc. Yeah. So,
well, see, that's what I was thinking. I was like, if they made a sequel to this, it could be RE:"Evolver. But I was like, I should have been an adult in the 90s, man. I could have made so much money off of naming shit. So, my question is, are you going to so you have a DVD copy, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to any conventions anytime soon that Ethan Embry is going to be there?
Oh, jeez. That's going to become my thing now, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see what Ethan Embry's up to, if anything.
I mean, you started at the bottom with Furlong, so you could only go up from there.
I sure did. Man, oh man. I don't think he's doing anything. He has a Twitter. Let's go on his Twitter real quick and see what the last thing he said was.
# will you sign this?
Oh, God. His profile is the kid from Dutch. So he doesn't even... Yeah, he was also in Dutch. Yeah, he was also in Dutch. I've never even... I think I tried watching that movie once, and it just did not matter.
I don't know what that movie is.
Let's see here. Okay, the last thing he tweeted was on the 27th, so 2 days prior to recording this. In the last 2 hours, the President of the United States has tweeted and retweeted 17 clear bot spam accounts. 17 in 2 hours. All right, well, not much going on.
He clearly doesn't care about virtual reality anymore.
No, he's definitely only tweeting about NASA and the President. So
no conventions lined up then.
Nah, doesn't look like it. That's okay. All right, we're gonna follow him anyway. Oops, signed in under the Megavisions account. Oh well.
Perfect.
All right, so the movie starts out with possibly the slowest credits in history. Like, I thought for a second, and I haven't seen this in a long time. Mentioned that I own it, so I've watched it just for funsies before, but yeah. I guess we can talk about the opening credits real quick, because it's just wireframe, like the skeletal proportion, of the actually Evolver robot, I guess, which would be cool if they cut away from it in like 30 seconds. It's 3.5 minutes long almost, this whole sequence of just nothing. Oh, man. But I want to say that the opening, like, the crawl, you could call it, because it's not the Star Wars crawl, but it just crawls. The music is sort of weird and sort of tense, but mellow at the same time. And it kind of sets it up as like, is this a horror or a thriller? Which I think is okay. But honestly, then it cuts to the arcade, which if they had done that quicker or even started with that, then it would have set it up and kind of been a bait and switch for this being like, oh, this is a fun teenage romp, you know?
Right.
So
I was watching that, and that's the first thing I thought. I was like, it said like the composer, and the composer's name was like, I think Christopher something or so. But I'm watching it, I'm like, this music is just kind of doesn't, like, I'd never seen the movie before, and I was like, is supposed to be setting up, is this supposed to be like a Class of 1999, like kind of horror level?
Yeah.
But then
I just learned of that movie by looking this movie's info up, so that might be on our
Class
roster.
of 1999 is fantastic. Like, it's got Malcolm McDowell in it. Like, I don't know how we can like put it with video games, but we need to watch it.
Yeah,
if we don't do a podcast about it, we need to at least watch it.
I was going to mention, we won't even talk about it since it might be, but I was going to literally just mention that came up, and looking at the poster and reading the description, I'm like, gotta find a way to watch this.
Yeah, it's I've never watched it in its entirety, but I have seen clips and parts of it, and I'm very down to watch it. But anyway, back to the movie that we're actually talking about.
Yep.
But that opening crawl though, I'm just like, okay, I guess it's trying to set stuff up. But it's just really weird how they went with it. Like, maybe, and it was 1995. Like, they could have probably done a little bit better than just wire framing and all that stuff. But
yeah. Yeah.
We need to talk about this virtual reality that we go into in the next scene, because that is not pleasant on the eyes.
Yeah, it's rough. It does the pan of like, there's the name of the place they are, and it's got some kids watching and stuff. Clearly, all the like the dweebs and the punks and the burnouts and stuff are watching this kid play VR.
I thought though there's a chick or a dude, I can't remember which one it is, but at first I was like, they're wearing a colander on their head, and then I looked, I was like, oh wait, no, that's just a silver motorcycle helmet with spikes on it.
Yeah,
but it looks like a colander at first glance.
Yeah, it's very much like these are all the extras from Johnny Mnemonic and that were just in the background in that one arcade, and Hackers came to this arcade or something.
I was just about to bring up Hackers because it came out the same year as this movie.
Oh, did it? Oh man, that explains a lot. Yeah, Do you have any other movies that came out that year? This was out in February. Let's see here, February 10th of '95. But
yes, I do have a list of movies.
Let's run them down.
So I'm gonna just hit the top 10 of 1995. So we'll start at number 10. Number 10 was Braveheart with Mel Gibson. We had Toy Story, Just Cause, that's a Sean Connery movie. Bad Boys, which is ironic because my wife was watching that last night. We had The Usual Suspects. We have Clueless, Heat, Seven, Casino, and Jumanji came out that year.
Wow. And then, like you mentioned, Hackers.
Die
Hard 3.
I'm not seeing any other like Heavyweights came out that year, Tommy Boy, Billy Madison, but I don't see any other like.
Oh shit, Johnny Mnemonic and Judge Dredd came out this year though.
Oh, did they? Okay,
yeah.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah, there's
Records.
Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Man, okay, and Empire Records, which the star of this movie was also in.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
That's nuts. A Goofy movie came out this year, so
hell yeah, all the greats. Let me see exactly what Johnny Mnemonic.
So it had a lot of stuff to go up against it.
Yeah. Okay, it came out before Johnny Mnemonic, and let's see when
Evolver came out in February. Hackers came out in September.
Okay, so it had a head start on some stuff, but I don't know.
I want to say the virtual. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Hackers because it is a product of its time.
Yep.
But I can't remember how the virtual reality looked in that, but I want to say it probably looked better than Evolver.
Well, you see them like hacking, and it's them going through circuit boards and crap. And the only other really like video game type stuff you see in that one is when he's playing this clearly Wipeout ripoff, or it might even be Wipeout in that arcade or something. A racing future sled car game. But yeah, so to tailor it back to the VR, it's very, very smooth, like no details to the walls. It's like if you were watching Reboot and they didn't finish an episode or something.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Yeah, just like grid floors and whatever, or you know what? He's basically walking around in one of those old Windows screensavers that's like the maze of brick walls.
Yes, that's what I thought. I was like, "What's this Windows 95 looking screensaver he's walking through?"
Yeah,
it does. But like in this part too, like I have to applaud this movie because it sets up and pays things off. Like I was not expecting that, because in the very beginning, the whole reflection of Evolver and his characters, when he's in the virtual reality, he gets to level 4. That's the final level that no one has ever been able to beat Evolver on.
Right.
And a little backstory is the reason he's even playing this game. The character's name is Kyle Baxter. The reason he's playing this game is because he wants to get the high score. Because if you get the high score, you win the Evolver competition that's going on, to where you. I guess it doesn't really say on the poster, but they bring an Evolver robot to your house and you get it. Like you get to play with it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's playing it, and at the final level, he's supposed to be like, he is the Eddie Furlong to Brain Scan. Like he's the computer tech video game whiz. That's what Kyle Baxter is in this movie.
Yeah, and he's kind of bored with the current tech, and he's like, whatever,
Well, yeah, and he's like, well, humans don't, or computers don't disappoint you and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, Lord. But, yeah in the final level, he's confused because he's trying to shoot at Evolver, but it's clearly like a mirror, like it's a funhouse room of mirrors, and that pays off later once we'll talk about it a little bit later, too. But I like the setup and the payoffs that happen in this movie. Albeit they're minor, and the other things outweigh them a little bit, but it's still enjoyable.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what we could equate this to with today. Like if you won something from a video game, like of course I first think of Fortnite, but it's like, what would you win that you can do from Fortnite? Like a pinata? I don't know.
I mean,
Or
I
like
don't
another
know.
big game, some sort of contest with esports that the reward would be to live the game somehow. You know, I can't really think of anything like that. Um, but that's a crazy cool idea though, that you could win and play against the thing in real life. But also,
Yeah.
let's talk about how the girl, the love interest, whatever her name is, Jamie, kind of invades his stakes of winning the championship or whatever the heck it is at the arcade. I don't think that would
Yeah.
be allowed for any type of tournament type aspect or whatever contest he's in. Like, she just shows up and Evolver kills him and she ends up killing Evolver in the game. It's like, how did no one stop her from getting on the other VR platform? And
Yeah, and I don't know how the game works, but does she just automatically get to go to level 4 if she hasn't done one,
Right.
2, or 3 yet?
yeah, or was she just playing her own thing in another whatever and then got to the same? It doesn't make sense.
You know
but
what,
that's-
Scotty? It's because we have to introduce this character and show that there's animosity between these two characters so that they'll fall in love eventually.
Right, and it's like, whoa, a girl playing video games?
Oh, yeah. She's got her 90s overalls on.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, this is ripe with 90s fashion, but
Oh, it's
not
great.
not to the extreme that it could be like, well, actually today with all this crap fashion coming back, everybody's like, whatever, it's 90s again.
Hey, man, with 2020, I think the 90s are coming. You know how the 80s were a big thing?
Yep.
I think the 90s are coming back finally.
Hell yeah. Green Day's
You
on
ready
tour.
for Brink?
I'm ready. Oh, I've been ready. It's a weekly. No, it's not.
It's a yearly thing.
Yeah. But let's see here. Going back to my notes. After the arcade, we go to awesome tech company Cybertronics, and they have like a water mine, like a water landmine, whatever it is. It's just a ball with spikes on it. Is their mascot thing or something on the sign? You have to pause it for a second, but it's the classic big businessman talking to a nerd in the lab guy who created the antagonist or antagonist is the enemy, right? Protagonist is the hero. Yeah.
Protagonist is the hero, yes.
Right.
But even the nerdy guy isn't it's not like, ooh, I'm a nerd. This guy's he's business nerd as well too.
Yeah, he's got his vests,
Oh man, does he? I've got it playing in the background right now. He makes his coffee in his beakers and everything.
God.
There's no flame or anything for it either.
It's just that's so I was thinking man, is that just an unsaid staple in sci-fi movies that the coffee is in a beaker so that for a split second you're like, he's drinking a chemical from a beaker,
Yeah.
But it's really
just a show. Yeah, it's goofy.
Yeah.
But we also forgot probably my favorite character in the movie is Zach.
Oh, what a sleazeball. Yeah.
I love him. He's great.
Zach the sleazeball who's taking bets against and for his buddy who might win the tournament or whatever. And then
he's a businessman. That
also introduces Dwight, the jock jerk, and he bets against him, so whatever, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's a good point. We introduced two more characters there. And they're kind of laying these characters out real quick because then, boom, we're in the kid's bedroom, in Kyle's bedroom, which is, again, super awesome teenager bedroom with, a total Carnage sticker on his computer and just license plates and posters and everything.
No
on his
diving.
wall. Yeah, no diving above his bed or something.
So here's the debate that we have to have. Who has the better room? Would it be Kyle Baxter or Eddie Furlong's character?
Oh, man.
I have to say Eddie's.
Yeah, Eddie Furlong has the entire attic, basically.
And he has a gaming chair.
Right, and he's got a fridge in there and everything.
And not just a mini fridge, it's a full fridge with an Alice Cooper on the side.
Yeah, and I think maybe I'm misthinking or misremembering. Doesn't Eddie have an auto door lock thing controlled by his computer, or am I thinking of another movie entirely?
I mean, he has Igor that does his calls for him, but I don't think he locks the door. I think it's just a normal door.
Yeah, maybe I'm misremembering or just getting it confused with any 90s
Looks like we gotta
teenager
watch
bedroom.
Brain Scan again.
Boy. And then we get introduced to the mom, who's, I guess, just a horrible parent because all she does is go out on dates, and the 8-year-old daughter is making dinner, which is just a salad.
Yeah.
But
I think Zach says 8-year-old going on 33.
yeah. And the kids are jerks, like because she's like, the mom's like, why don't you enjoy the dinner your sister made and show some appreciation? And he's like, oh, you mean like not going out every night? And she's just like, I'll be home late.
When he said that, I went, boom!
Yeah. Unnecessary, but I don't even know. It's weird because it's like, are they trying to make the mom seem like a piece of crap? But she's well dressed. She's not like trying to make herself all made up for a date, really. It honestly looks like she's going to work.
Well, that's the thing. She says she's going out on a date, so you're like, oh, this lady just, she doesn't care about her kids. She just wants to go out and be do what she wants to do. But then later on, it starts setting up that it's all business. Like, she's on the phone during dinner talking about like spreadsheets and like transferring accounts and all this other stuff. So
yeah, escrow.
It was kind of it was kind of unclear that like they shouldn't have. It should have been like, oh, I've got a business meeting with my boss and a couple of clients late at night and all that stuff. But it just kind of sounded like she was going out on a date. Like, she pulled up 90s Tinder. It was just like, let's do it.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much. So whatever, they're hanging out in the bedroom, and he looks up. Oh, the reason they're looking at anything is Zach is like, alter the scores, man, so that he can win the tournament or
That's
whatever.
Right, because Kyle is 55 points behind the number one player.
Yeah, which isn't even what's her name that beat him. Jamie that beat him. Some random
guy
kid
named Robbie Valpel.
Yeah, I don't. I should have paused it and looked at the names, but yeah, it should
have been someone in the movie.
Yeah, it would have made a little more sense. I don't know.
And then Evolver ends up killing him at some point.
Yeah, something like, I helped you out, Kyle. Let's rule the planet. I don't know.
Which sets up that Kyle's a scumbag and just like cheats to win.
Yeah, or he, I don't know, just doesn't care. They did a really bad job of setting him up as someone who cares more about computers than people, because he's surrounded by people in this movie. Like, he's got his best friend, he's got a love interest, whether he wants it or not, his sister, whatever. Somebody's always there.
One of the so I've got it paused on the high score screen, and one of the people is Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone Vivanco. That's about it. You got Diana Boom Boom Zahn.
Of course.
I don't know. Yeah, you got Don the Mole Robinson.
Oh, good. All real people. That's good.
Oh yeah. Person with fingers esque. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I looked at him now too. Okay. Yeah, the Mole Boone Boom Boom. Great. That's all good. Dandy Andy.
Well, I'm wondering. Usually in those situations, it's like like nicknames for people that were on production or something like that.
Right.
So I'm wondering if these are other people that worked on the movie.
Right. Most likely, yeah. They threw themselves in there somehow. And I get this might be the last like bit of plot we need to mention, but it shifts to the lab where Dr. Bennett, or Professor, whatever he is, he's looking at Project SWORD, SWORD, which we learn what that's an acronym for later on. But he looks at Evolver and he's like, yeah, there's been worse, but he's like, this time you'll be perfect or something like that, and it's just like, what? What?
I forgot he said that, and once you watch the movie, that makes sense, like why he said that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, let's just keep talking about it. We don't have to go like beat for beat the whole thing overall, unless maybe we need to with the jock needing money and then all that crap.
Well, I mean, the jock that's his money that he won.
$200, yeah, $200, which is a lot in the 90s, especially for high school kids that, again, are, of course, on a campus high school, like multiple buildings, always walking around. No one's ever really in class.
School's so nice.
It's probably the same school from Bill and Ted, or from Pump Up the Volume, or from...
It might be.
I don't even know what. Yeah, that always bothered me. Like, I just assumed from movies I grew up with that, like, does everyone in California just go to, like, pre-college high school? I've never...
Well, it's like the mall in... so there's a mall that in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
No,
but
I haven't, actually.
That mall is the same mall that's used in that movie, and that mall is also used in a movie called Chopping Mall. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie.
Of that.
and then that mall is also used in Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando. So
okay,
they just keep using the same set over and over. This movie reminded me a lot of Chopping Mall, except they're not in a mall. That's just the thing. Like, I love Chopping Mall because it's so stupid.
That's almost the only 90s trope that this didn't have was a mall at some point. Or even if they zoomed out of the arcade and it's like part of a mall, now that we talk about the mall, I realize like that's the only thing this didn't have to really timestamp it for the 90s. To get to that arcade. Yeah, that's weird. That's
it's like it's a nightclub.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. But
but anyway, he wins Evolver, we get Evolver to the house, and the
dry ice and all.
Explaining. Yeah, it opened. I was like, that was unnecessary.
Yeah, that's great. It's great, but it's like a weird. There's just so much. You mentioned stuff that it follows through on, but also stuff that it doesn't. How there's like a cameraman and he's filming the acceptance of Evolver Championship
in the floor, like laying down.
Yeah, like filming all of this as if it's going to be. And well, I guess it eventually pays off because everybody's like, "Oh, you're that CEO from Cybertronics," and at the very, very end, maybe. But very strange. But I thought it was weird that like the big business dude, they don't really make him out as a sleazeball as much as most movies would have for this time.
He's just kind of dumb.
Yeah, he's just kind of like, I run a company somehow. Let's make money with this toy, but also let's have the kids. I want the kids to have fun with this toy. I don't just want to make money. I don't know. It's weird.
His character's kind of unnecessary. Like, I understand why he's there, but like you have his character in Russell Bennett, which is the inventor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, because you have a couple of times where they have a banter between each other where he's like, if you want me, if you want to pull Evolver, it's going to take another 8 months and then you're not going to make it to Christmas season and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it was just a little unnecessary. Like you had all these other good aspects going on. You didn't really need to put that in there.
Yeah, it was almost like he was there just to have a break between scenes and make it seem like kind of. There's a business and a reason for Evolver to exist outside the military, Yeah,
what they should have done was like the inventor should have been the one like, things aren't looking good with this, like we should probably pull it. He's like the businessman should have been like, and cost me $20 million. Wrong on that. We're gonna keep it in there, but it's reverse actually.
That's what I mean, in that he's not fitting the typical businessman stereotype, and that he's the one that wants to pull it initially, which I thought was weird, and didn't even pay attention to that scene until watching it a second time for this podcast. But I guess we can sum up in one phrase what Evolver is in real life, which really as a kid, like if we were playing our video games and then suddenly someone brought that video game into real life for us, this would blow our minds. But Evolver is basically laser tag against a Roomba.
Yeah, 100%. And as a kid, I loved laser tag, and like if you ever wanted like home laser tag stuff, most of the time it didn't work as well as if you like a laser tag place. Yeah,
you wore those weird big vests and had.
You felt like you're going like I remember the first time at the local laser tag place that we went to. I went for a birthday party, and they give you like the big vest. I felt like, because at that time I had seen Aliens as a kid, and we put the vest on, and we've got, it's not just like a little pistol, it's like a big like two-handed rifle, and I felt like they're in. Yeah, and they're like, all right, we're going to go through the rules. And, like, they're telling us to yell the rules back to them. Like, I felt like I was going to war.
Yeah, and I thought you were doing an impression of, like, the attendant because your voice cracked. Like, all right, kids, put your vests on. Like the nerd from Simpsons or something.
Going to kill me if you don't read these back to me.
Remember, no physical contact. I said no physical contact.
That sucked, because they're like, you're going through the rules. You're like, yeah, we're going to, run around. And it's like, no running, no jumping, no laying down. And I'm like, this is dumb. You're right. Yeah, this, like, I would have loved to have this as a kid, because Evolver looks kind of cool too. He's not a bad looking robot.
Yeah, it's very. I kept saying that he looked like E.T. or he like,
especially in Phase 2.
Yeah, like this weird, stocky, long armed, but he's just a torso with sort of legs.
Basically, yeah.
I guess we didn't even describe what he does look like, though. But yeah, if you essentially stacked like 10 Roombas on top of each other, put a Mega Man arm cannon on for the left arm, and then a weird like Technique Legos. Yeah, I don't like his hand, because just the whole time he's like, "Hey, let me touch things."
He even grabs people. You're just like, "Huh."
Yeah. creepy hand, and he has his head is basically a plate. It's just like a almost very disc
It's
shaped.
a Battlestar Galactica helmet.
Oh yeah. None of his design is unique, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
They just kind of threw everything together.
Right. You could remake this with a trash can and put Mega Man's arm cannon on it or something.
You can do R2-D2 with an arm cannon.
Yeah. But he almost looks like a DeLorean or like some. I think they tried to get. I wish there was a commentary for this because I really want to hear like how they designed Evolver because he's not unique at all.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we'll probably never get that.
No.
Let's see here. So he shows up and they start playing with Evolver. So yeah, I guess we should mention though, like the main thing is you have laser tag guns. I don't know why they wear the glasses unless it's just for protection.
I think the person that was making the movie was like, we can't just let them have the guns. They got to look cool while they're doing it.
Right.
Because they don't even have a scene where they like put the glasses on and then they can see things like, that you would see like statistics or like how much ammo you had left or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't do that. They were just like these were the gamer glasses before gamer glasses were big.
Yes. I forget what they're called. Like
the HD gamer glasses.
Yeah. They're like an off orange kind of thing. Like a rusty orange or something. But yeah, they're wearing those and shooting Evolver, but you have to aim for the targets that are on his torso. Right. He is just a torso. His chest plates. So that kind of sets up like how easy it is at the first level.
Yeah, because those targets initially are pretty large, but then they start getting
my
smaller
gosh.
and smaller.
I just noticed strings on Evolver. Okay. I'm watching the scene where he falls down after he's shooting Zack.
Yeah, that's what I'm at right now, too.
Okay, look at his treads. There's definitely strings on the bottom of them, and then when Zack sets him up...
I thought those were just, like, lines in the carpet.
So did
I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, that's great. And because I kind of wondered... That's what I wanted for a behind-the-scenes thing, is, like, I want to know how many people were making, like, puppeteering Evolver and stuff, and, like, how they decided it would... Because if it is just strings, it looks like he's kind of a hefty... bot kind of thing that they made, but maybe not.
Well, that's how they made him trip, because the strings are in his front tires, and they pulled those strings, and that's how he fell over.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
Oh, that's goofy. But this is our first glimpse of like at first it's all like, oh, happy go lucky and all that, but then you get your first little glimpse of like Evolver like kind of just being ruthless,
right? Because he thinks he kills Allie, is the younger sister. And she falls, and then she's like, I'm not dead, idiot, or something like that. And he just keeps just nonstop shooting the little foam balls at her. And until Kyle does a barrel roll and shoots him in the chest. And he's like,
I don't know why he does that.
I don't know. And then I guess Evolver's defeated, so boots him up to level 2. He gets some foam dildos. And
he gets a neck.
He gets a neck, yeah, crazy stuff. But they're like... That's enough for today. And Evolver just wants to keep playing, though. He's incessant.
Yeah, that's what he's programmed to do.
Yeah. But they stop, and it's like, that was fun, but Evolver's going to go charge himself. Or no, I wish I had a toy like this that like cleaned up after itself.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah, it picks up all the little foam balls and whatever. But an important thing with the next scene is... I guess this is setting up Evolver sort of thinking for himself. He plugs himself in with a finger. It's just a regular, like, little wall outlet thing.
It clicks in and out.
Yeah, it's very strange. And Kyle, I keep almost forgetting all their names because they're just so boring and forgettable. He's like, all right, that's enough juice. But Evolver's like, more power or something like that, which never makes sense to me.
Oh, it sets it up for a little bit later because in the beginning he said he doesn't have enough power, and then later on he gets the power he wants, and then he's able to start just electrocuting crap. So
yeah,
maybe that's why he needed more power. So
I guess. So his data disk is full. Kyle swaps it out, but what's worth pointing out is Evolver is now exploring his bedroom and finds a kaleidoscope, and Kyle's just like, it's just a toy to see things in a cool way, and it's like, oh, foreshadowing, because Evolver's like, use unnecessary or something like that.
Yeah. And then come to find out later, it's actually very necessary in what he wants to do. So,
but what's fun to point out is on the shelf that he's looking at that kaleidoscope and finds it. There's a issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly with Sonic CD on the cover. So now it's tied to Sega.
I saw that, but later on they show a Nintendo Entertainment System too. So I was like, oh, we got butting heads in this.
Yeah, they just have to have, I guess, a game console.
Way, 95.
That's what I mean. Like nobody would still be playing the NES in '95. They definitely, especially this kid, would have a Super Nintendo or have it. Maybe he has it in his bedroom somewhere, and they just leave the old system out in the family room. You know,
no, this kid would have the weird Sega consoles.
Yeah, he would have a TurboGrafx at this point or something.
He's like, I got this prototype for Sonic. It's called a Sega CD.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then what makes no sense, just because we're nerds, is Kyle wants to see what makes Evolver tick, so he plugs in a monitor cable to...
Like, and I'm not talking VGA monitor. We're talking like old school, almost like 25-pin monitor. Right.
Yeah. And I'm just, and I'm thinking that now. I wouldn't have caught that as a child because I wasn't setting up computers then. But I was like, that's not how. That doesn't transfer data. That would be like plugging in an HD cable and thinking like, let me transfer this file through my HDMI
if anything,
cable.
It would just show what Evolver's looking like through his eyes. It would just display what he's seeing. But no, we go into lines of code and objectives and all this shit. So.
Right. Yeah, very strange. And meanwhile, Evolver's playing with ball bearings. Again, not sure why ball bearings are just sitting out on Kyle's shelf, but
yeah, I don't understand that either. But before that, like we start seeing that Evolver's starting to learn because he's watching. Apparently, like. Back then, this kid just watches all the shitty news that happens.
Yes.
Because Evolver just starts watching, like, people getting hurt and, like, hostage situations and stuff like that. And he starts learning. He's like, all right, that's how the world is. So that's how I'm going to act.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's weird. But, like, let's see here. So, I mean, that's how he learns. And he's watching, like, the uncensored news that just happens in the 90s, I guess. And then
dropping F-bombs and all that stuff.
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me, but I don't know. And he thinks he turns Evolver off, but he glows red, and he's like, oh, I'm awake, and then he's going to reach for him, but he doesn't kill him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and this kid has more electronic gaming just spread all across his bed.
That's all he reads. He tries to stay neutral. You know, he wants the unbiased opinion.
Sure, that's what it is.
Yep. And then the next day, we have to talk about Operation Snatch at school.
That was like he said that I was like snatch, and then I saw what it was. I was like, oh, okay, boy, I got it. All right,
yeah. So we don't need to keep going scene for scene, but basically Hornball, Zach, and Kyle are just sticking Evolver in a laundry basket thing on wheels and scooting him into the girls' locker room, and we see some boobs and some butts, which is weird.
It's weird because it's high school. Yeah.
Yep. But. And
I think I messaged you, and I was like, you didn't tell me there was dude butt in this movie.
Hell yeah. Yeah, because Evolver gets pushed out of the girls' locker room because someone's like, stupid freshman or something.
Yeah, well, it's Jamie sees it, too. She's like, oh, yes. Perverts.
Yeah, the only fully clothed person is the love interest in the movie.
Yeah, unlike Brain Scan.
Yep. It's weird. But, and so... But then Evolver like breaks free of the laundry basket and goes and explore the guys' locker room, and we get a camera full of jock ass. Or what? Let me check my notes here. Let's see here.
Dwight ass.
Yes. I lost it now. Where?
With the smallest towel I've ever seen in my life. Like I'm a large guy, and that towel, like he was a fit jock, and that towel barely went around him. I was like, if I was taking a shower, I'd need like 3 of those tied together.
Yeah, that didn't seem necessary at all. But we get a face full of awkward jock ass, basically, is my notes here. And Evolver's like, want to play, and he says, your enemy number whatever. But then Dwight does the one cool thing against like Evolver that before anyone else does, before he turns into an asshole, is he just fucking chucks him across the locker room.
Yeah, which makes me wonder how heavy Evolver is or how strong Dwight is, because he slides him like a bowling ball going down a lane.
Yeah, pretty good. So, but this is the first like setting up Evolver as a murderer, because he finally fires the ball bearings, blinds him, and then eventually he falls backwards down some stairs and breaks his neck and just dies. Just a very shitty way to go. But then Zach and Kyle pick him up and they're like, all right, we got some porn to sell, essentially.
They're not just hornballs; they're trying to make money too.
Yeah, the good Samaritans that they are.
I'm really glad I never had to go to I went to a high school where we didn't have to do that showering in front of each other.
Well, I guess this was supposed to be after practice, and that's why nobody else is around. But there were showers, but never did I exert myself in gym class in any fashion that I would need to shower after it.
I wouldn't have done it anyway. I'm good. I'm not doing that.
Right? Yeah. No, thank you.
I'll be stinky.
Yep. So Evolver's claimed a victim. Zach wants his porn disc but can't have it yet. And for some reason, Evolver's just like the family dog walking around the house and stuff. He says he's watching TV while they're having their gourmet TV dinner meal. And he's like, I'll cut your fucking throat. Something like that.
Yeah, he saw it on TV.
Yeah.
And the Allie, the younger daughter, she has like a knife and he's like, weapon? And she's like, no, you cut food with it, you idiot.
Yeah,
he goes, I'll cut your fucking neck.
Yeah, it was great. And Jamie shows up and she's like, I saw what you had your little crony do in the locker room, and he plays dumb. And this is another example of he plays dumb and he's like, can we talk about this somewhere else? And they go up to his room, and it's like, this is another example of a teenager getting a significant other in their room and not doing anything about it.
Yep.
Not being a sleazeball at all, which is just not how real life works. And I said that to Rachel, and she's like, well, he's not going to do her. I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just trying to make a move, like
a grab, or even try for a kiss. Or,
nerd enthusiasm aside, the hormones would take over and he'd try to do something, but
why would you be like, let's go to my room to talk about this? Why wouldn't you just step outside or something like that?
Yeah.
For someone that at that point they've been shown in the movie to not like each other, really.
Weird. Yeah. It doesn't.
You got to set up that romantic plot.
Oh, but they also and they could have done this anywhere, but they talk about parents getting divorced, and that's their connection.
Part of the club too.
Yeah, and I was like, I guess so. I just thought the dad was dead or something. I just assumed the Disney parents or something, that one of them is dead and that's it. So
if this was a Disney movie, this would have been a PG movie.
Right. Yeah.
This movie got an R, which is interesting because I want to say the movie got an R because of, I guess, the deaths, even though the deaths aren't that crazy.
Yeah,
but
they
I guess the nudity.
Them. Nudity and the F-bombs, probably.
Yeah, I think back then with the PG-13 movie, you could drop one F-bomb.
Right.
But I think multiple F-bombs get dropped in this. So.
Oh, yes. It's
a very flaccid R, is what I would say.
Well, somebody's flaccid, but not everybody. So,
okay.
Yep. But, Evolver wants to play more, and they have to play more with them and stuff, and all that fun crap. Let's see here. I'm just trying to go through and not talk about every little thing. He uses the smoke screen again, which is great. Oh, this is when he does fire a ball bearing at... You mentioned how it's sort of foreshadowing in the VR thing, the room of mirrors.
Yeah.
Because now Evolver sees Kyle in a mirror, and he just sees Kyle. He fires a ball bearing, it breaks the mirror, and the mom's like, that thing's destroying my house. But she doesn't go to clean it up. She just makes the kids clean it up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a concerned mother would not have her children pick up glass or whatever.
Well, she's not concerned, so
no, mom of the year.
She's concerned if it breaks, if it affects shit she owns, then she's worried about it.
Yeah, and but I guess if she had cleaned it up, she would have found the ball bearing, and it maybe wouldn't have mattered. But Zach finds it. God damn it, Kyle finds it, and he's like, "Oh, I must have sucked it up from my room. I'm an idiot." And that's basically that. But they just, I will say, for as uneventful as some of this movie is, it does at least go through its steps quickly enough. There, unlike a normal horror movie where there's a ton of character exposition where it's like, but it's this, maybe it's this, no, it's not that, we're probably safe.
You get your one scene when he finally goes to Cybertronics and talks to the guy, and that's your one kind of transition or your exposition. and then it just keeps going. Like, that's the thing. I got halfway through this movie and I was like, oh my God, I'm 45 minutes through this movie. It doesn't feel like I've been sitting here that long. Like, the movie paces pretty well. Like, it keeps up with it. There's no like parts where you're like, oh God, we got to go find old man Jenkins who used to work on robots. And, he was in the war and he's like, we had to fight these robots in the war. And you don't have all that crap.
Right.
So I have to applaud it on that.
Same, because or it's it's the same as like a zombie movie trope of like, he's been bitten, but they won't turn. Let's try to let them live or something. You know?
We tourniquet his arm off quick enough.
Right. But yeah, so they're playing, and Dwight's death shows up on the news. We go to I keep saying we're not going to talk about this scene for scene, but that's all I'm doing.
We're kind of jumping. We're about halfway through now. So.
Yeah, we're zipping around, and it's the lab, and he's Bennett's checking the disc and sees the concern, and
we got to talk about Zach gets Zach wants that disc really bad. So
so that's so let's see here.
The only reason I backtrack and talk about Zach is because he has a cool quote unquote death scene.
Oh yeah,
I say quote unquote because he I don't know how he survived, but he didn't die.
I don't either. But before we get far ahead of it, how we were applauding the movie for the progression is they go to the locker room and see the ball bearing dent, but also Kyle's like, anything could have made that. But an important thing after that is it shows that Evolver, I guess, was watching TV and a bunch of tapes, and he's overcharging himself now. So development, I suppose, but also nobody's home.
Of course.
So Zach rolls in, like sneaks in the back and takes Evolver because, like you said, he needs his porn. And
gotta make that money.
Yeah, and like takes him home to where there's a car being worked on in the garage, and he finds some tools, pulls the disc out. It's damaged now, but he's like, I can. He clearly doesn't know anything about tech, so he's like, I can still make some porn money. And then this is when Evolver's like ready for blood, and Zach is an enemy already, so he's gonna he's gonna play against him and whatever, and grabs a buzzsaw blade and just slices Zach's leg, and then he's crawling around, and then this was the goof that we mentioned before recording, was that I guess the jack of that the car is on being worked on in the garage, you would have had to unscrew it to lower it instead of what Evolver does. He just like smashes it down and crushes Zach under the car.
I know like the Buzzsaw, they're like, oh, Buzzsaw, robots and all that. I kind of got a very loose Gremlins vibe off of that. I only say that because I've recently watched Gremlins. But I think the reason that they didn't kill Zach off is like, even though it's a rated R movie, like I thought they were just going to go for it and kill him.
Yeah.
But no, I guess they're like, we can only kill one kid. Like
something. Because they do mention like he's in stable. What's that?
It might have gotten an X rating if you killed more than one kid. So, but I don't know, maybe.
But so like you see his fingers move after Evolver walks away from him, thinking he got another kill, but he didn't, or so, he's in stable condition or something like that. And at this point, Bennett had talked to Big Businessman and Big Businessman voiced concern, but we already mentioned that scene. But it's like, let's still sell Evolver and all this shit or whatever. I don't know. And then Kyle and Jamie can't find him, so they're going over to Zach's eventually. But we cut to the arcade where two stoners are playing some Evolver, and it's great. They
don't make it spoilers.
Yeah, what the hell? I don't know. There's just like no one in the arcade. I guess it's the middle of a school day or something for it to only be the two kids there right before it closes in broad daylight, like 10 minutes to close, and they're smoking weed. They don't just look like stoners. They very much shove it in our face that they are smoking a joint and playing some video games.
Yeah. I've got to say, too, like, the virtual reality helmet and, like, the cable in the back isn't too far off of how virtual reality is now.
Yeah.
Like, it's still basically the kind of the same setup. Like, there are setups where I think there is, like, one that's come out recently that is fully wireless. But the base models have that big, I call it the big, long, like, just braid that's in the back because it's a huge cord that attaches to the back of the VR.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed that much.
And they're basically using what we saw in Hackers, the villain, like a caged up VR thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're not too far from that.
I keep thinking of this movie as a horror short circuit. Is how I look at this movie.
Oh, very much so. Maybe that's why it didn't take off as well, because people didn't want to see Short Circuit in a bad light. Who knows?
Well, that's the same thing when E.T. came out. No one wanted to watch The Thing because it was a horror movie about an alien when we just had a movie about a friendly little alien.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to look up real quick when Short Circuit came out. Oh, 86, and it's probably not much longer than that for 2. To see if it would like interfere with this movie, but I don't know.
Oh, no, probably not.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Oh no, 89, long before. But yeah, the stoners get killed. I would say this was at least a clever death in that Evolver blasts open the VR helmet, so the kid thinks that what he's seen is still the game, but it's actually real life.
Yeah, because he's so high.
Right, which doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm not going to stand here or sit here and say I'm a professional pot smoker, but hallucinating like they try to play it off, I don't think that happens so much when you're high. There'd have to be something else in that joint for the buddy who's not playing. He's like, I must be hallucinating or something, and then Evolver shocks him with a handshake or whatever, and just ridiculous. I don't know. It's great and stupid. But you don't care about these characters, though. They're just some extras.
Nah, you don't. I mean, it's the first time you see him, and it's the last time you see him, so...
Right, exactly. And then, let's see here. So, they go to Zach's. He's not there. They go back home. Kyle finally thinks it through for a split second and pulls out Evolver's battery and looks into some stuff, and then goes to the lab to talk to Dr. Bennett and be like, dude... My friend almost died. What the fuck's up?
Yeah, like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like,
yeah, it's very...
Well, what's weird is I thought at first, but then the scene where they're bringing Zach out, I'm like, the way they first show him on the stretcher at the angle, I'm like, oh, he's in a body bag.
Right, because they do have him wrapped up, essentially.
And I think maybe someone in editing was like, hey, it looks like he's dead, so they had to get a shot of his face with the oxygen mask on.
Something. Yeah, so he almost looks dead, but he's not dead. They say
he went to the professor and all that.
Yeah, they audibly confirm a couple of times that Zach is stable or whatever, his condition's stable. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's worth mentioning the car that was up on the jack. It had no tires on it, so it could have probably crushed him. I don't know.
It would have come all the way down.
Yeah. So weird, but. Yeah,
that was a production, or that was a business thing where they were like, can't kill that many kids.
Right, yeah, and after the fact thought. But then he does talk to, or not him, but Kyle talks to the doctor, professor, whatever, nerd guy, vest time, Q from Star Trek, and he's saying, like, what's all this bullshit? And steals a lab ID card and kind of just leaves the professor, but then he's going to sneak around, do some snooping. And for some reason, Jamie walks in. She's like, just shows up at the Cybertronics place and asks for Kyle. And the receptionist is like, let me see if he's available, or let's see, he has a meeting with this guy. And she just walks around, sees Kyle, and then they go snooping together. And I'm
worst security ever.
Yeah, worst security ever. Also, she eventually rides away with him on his moped. How did she get there in the first place? Did someone just drop her off, or like, is this in walking distance of her house?
I guess, I don't know, but more importantly, this is where we find out the acronym SWORD and what it means.
Yes, what was it? Strategic Weaponized something robot destruction.
Yeah, I think I don't know if the scene pulls it up, but this is where we see that it used to be a military program.
Yeah, he uses pro hacking skills to look up the Evolver thing, and the password is just sword.
Yeah, it's like you put in your birth date for your password.
Yeah, or poop.
Strategic war-oriented robotic device.
There we go. Hell yeah.
Yep.
And by the U.S. Defense Department or whatever, and they see what he looks like now, and the rotating picture of what's the sword mech is reminded me of RoboPit. When you pick your fighter and put them together, the video game.
You could pick treads, or like in this one, he has legs.
Yes.
So.
He's a chicken walker kind of deal. Basically, Evolver's final form, but with legs instead of treads.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and they just sit down and they watch a video of soldiers getting killed by the sword mech.
Yep.
And they're barely fazed by it, but, it's the 90s. Kids are desensitized to everything.
Oh, yeah. Video games have desensitized them. So.
Yes. Oh, I guess important note is the verbal command, like the kill key or whatever that Bennett says is alpha command, sequence, shutdown, Phoenix 8, delete.
Yeah. Just a bunch of words.
Yeah, it's great. But then they decide, oh shit, we're in some shit. Let's call Allie and head on home. Allie turned Evolver back on, put his battery back in because she's a dumb little girl that wants to play video games or whatever. And Evolver's got knives loaded into his cannon now. She's firing those at him, and they're like, fuck, we got to get home. And all this crazy stuff. Zip home on the moped. This is also when Bennett watches the video and sees the teenager get killed. And he's like, shit, this might not be good for business.
He's like, not again.
Yeah, something like that. I wrote it down here in my notes. He says, God damn you.
Like it's like a guy that's been following him for years, sabotaging. No, it's just your bad programming.
Yeah, very bad programming. And so this is where Evolver is trying to electrocute, chases Allie out into the backyard. She falls into the pool dramatically, and he's going to electrocute the pool and all this good stuff. She makes it on a float. And it's just great because it's finally like everybody, it's no joke that
Tension.
Evolver's killing people or wants to kill people. Yeah. And he's going to keep going until Enemy 1 is still kicking, basically.
Yeah, because Enemy 1 has always been able to defeat him, so now he has like resentment to Enemy 1, which is, Kyle.
Yep, that's Kyle. That's our main dude. But this is fun. He like slides in and basically, I don't know why he just doesn't do. Oh, I guess Evolver's still firing knives at him, but eventually, saves a little sister and fucking chucks Evolver into the swimming pool.
Which, with any robot in the 90s, would have completely fried it.
Right, but not Evolver, because he evolves.
No, he's evolved.
Boy. But the maintenance dudes come and get him, and then the mom is finally there. Mom of the Year is like, I hope your attorneys are better than your technicians, because it's like, dude, you're done. It doesn't matter how much
these people are about to get paid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so whatever happens in the sequel, Kyle has it made, whether he's got PTSD or not. The Cybertronics is gone probably. This is, they try to fake you out with an ending here, as if it hasn't been spoilers this whole time, as they try to mend the family, and then Bennett's working on Evolver in the back of the technician's van. This scene makes no sense, but it's great. Evolver punches him, and then Evolver grabs the driver, like his face, just covers it with his claw, and the driver's like swerves out of control, does a fucking flip off some vehicles and all that good stuff.
That's the budget. Besides Evolver, this is where the rest of the budget for the movie went. Yeah,
pretty much this explosion, because I'm a little bit bummed that Bennett dies here. Evolver just torches the van. He like sucks up gasoline and then turns his cannon into a flamethrower. And
what's weird is there's a guy in the passenger seat. He could have like grabbed the wheel and would have been like, okay. Because I was like, where's the other guy at? And then I see him dead, and I'm like, oh, okay, there was another guy, but whatever. We needed to progress this movie, so
super dead, and just wonderful. So I was kind of Bennett tries the code, the delete Phoenix 8, whatever, doesn't work. And I was bummed that he dies, because I feel like there should have been like some sort of resolution with him suffering more than just dying, like him like living with the consequences and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it could have come back and like a crazy sequel would have been like Bennett becomes a machine somehow. I don't know. I'm thinking,
or like
too much.
He gets out, but his legs, he like got burned up, and now he has robotic legs and all this.
Yeah, because despite the fact that we see the explosion and a body on fire, it's Hollywood, or it's Hollywood magic. He could have survived some freakish way or whatever. No, not this time. No, he's done for. But now Evolver must kill enemy one and cuts the power.
He's a sore loser.
Yeah. But Mr. Moped trying to take Jamie home after all this, he runs out of gas, and I guess she just what? Go ahead.
That's so stupid. Someone that's like obviously smart with a computer. He's like, oh, I guess I forgot to put gas in it.
The only thing I can
what
figure
she says, though, I like what she says.
Yeah, the only thing I can figure is just with all the garbage that's been going on, that hasn't been his first thought. Is like, do I put gas in my moped today?
I guess, yeah.
I don't know. Yep, trying to legitimize it, but
this is where we get the kiss.
Oh my god! And he says like, "How was that?" or something like that. It's very bad.
I mean, to be fair, like if it was like your first person, we were not like Fabios when we did our first kisses. Whenever we did them, but I don't think I remember like, how was that?
And she's like, pretty good, or I want some more.
I want more. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, nothing was, she wasn't, I guess she wasn't living it up in Ohio or something for this kid to be.
Yeah, Ohio dudes aren't the same as Kyle.
Yeah, in California or Florida. I don't know where we are. There was a palm tree somewhere, maybe Florida.
I'm going to say Florida. Or no, I'm going to say California, the way it looks.
Yeah, boy. Brother, whatever. The Evolver killing people, cuts the power or something. So we're back at, Kyle and Jamie have to go home. They want to go home and go back to his house, and like Evolver's cut the power. And
well, they see the wreck, so they're like, oh god, Evolver got out, so they have to run
that's
back
right.
home.
Yep. Just always near the crime scene, but never the criminal.
I got it. I got that.
And so Evolver's trapped the mom and Allie with the kaleidoscope laser contraption that he made.
So when I first saw it, I was like, he's modified the gun somehow.
Yeah.
And then like once I saw it, I was like, oh shit, that's the kaleidoscope. Okay, that's kind of interesting that they set that up, because even Evolver was like, purpose useless or whatever. And then he's like, nope. I don't know how he rigged that gun to be able to shoot actual hurtful lasers, but
I don't know.
The funniest thing here is like, obviously this Allie, the little girl, is going to be traumatized for the rest of her life. And she has this little bear that obviously she loves. And the mom's like, give me Mr. Bear, and just chunks it through the laser beam, and it catches on fire, like super hardcore.
Yeah. Oh god.
Like just trauma icing on the trauma cake.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's wonderful. And I don't know. There's so many.
The hostage situation is set up from earlier in the movie too. Yeah.
It's just so much. They could have gotten out of that laser situation in another way. I can understand. For a second, I thought like just throw like your bathrobe thing over top the laser, but I could think of ways of that not working, like maybe hitting the laser the wrong way rather than blocking it, and it like shoots them instead or something insane. I don't know. It seemed like there were so many ways they could have gotten out of that trap, especially since Evolver's not watching them or anything. I think it would have been a cooler thing and made more sense if like Evolver somehow detached a part of himself to watch them to prevent them from freeing themselves while also trying to kill Kyle or something. Because I did see,
or just the lasers would be like not as sporadically apart from each other. Like it should have been a dome instead of just some lasers pointing at them.
Right. Yes. Exactly. It could have, like, I don't know if you saw it. I'm going crazy. Saw the little, like, robot dude that was on the kitchen counter, like another toy at one point in the movie. I thought that they were going to, like, use that somehow as a distraction for Evolver or something.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, it was just the same, like, toy robot that you see in everything that's used as a distraction somehow in some way, shape, or form, basically. So that's why I thought that. But this is the final showdown, essentially, and oh boy. Evolver looks like Sword now. Rachel couldn't stop laughing when he, like, stumbles down the stairs magically.
He just like flies down him. Like,
Yeah.
obviously they didn't give him the legs because of budget, and it wouldn't have worked right. So that's why they gave him the wheels. But him flying down those stairs like that, and I mean, it even sets that up too. Like earlier in the very beginning of the movie, he's like, obstacle in the way, and then halfway through the movie, you see that he like is able to pop himself up over a stair. So you're like, okay, he's learning how to do all that. But yeah, when he's faster now, like he's a lot faster. But him flopping down them stairs was fucking funny.
Yep. It would have been great
it's like
if
when you're driving down the highway and you kind of go too far to the left or right and you hit those bumps on the side of the road to like keep people awake. You're just like
Yep. That's what Evolver's life is, just full of speed bumps.
Yeah.
And so they use the old Clint Eastwood trick. And Kyle puts a dinner plate or something like under his shirt. Evolver shoots him in the chest and thinks like kill confirmed. But they waste no time. And
there's a part right before they do that, and it dawned on me because I just saw it. He like. Obviously, Evolver's like, I just got to wait this out and I'll win. Like, that's just how it is. So he's like, they cut to him just like kind of like doing donuts in the middle of the room. And then they say like, someone's like, hey, Evolver. And he's like, what? And I'm just like, this dude is just like loving what he's doing right now.
Yeah, he's spinning around. He's like, Evolver wins or something like that.
He's like, I'm the best.
Oh God, it's so ridiculous. But then he hears Kyle breathing and he like zooms in on his face. I was like, you know what? That's okay. Like that's
pretty smart.
They probably had other plans of like Kyle gets up, he runs around, and the chase just continues or something. But they're like, no, let's just push this along, And so he fires that blast and kills him or defeats him or whatever, and then fucking wails on him with a bat, which is great.
Yeah. And when he thinks he kills him, he's so like Evolver's so happy. He's just so happy. He's like, I did it. I'm the best. I win. But yeah, and then he just starts wailing on him, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we defeated him. We're good. Like he hits the laser, so the laser can't. He's got a Predator laser arm cannon, and
oh yeah.
But they go. This is the part where I was like, what? And so they go upstairs, and like Kyle and Jamie, they save the mom and Allie.
Yeah.
And then they're just kind of like, they put the fires out because the lasers are like on the wall. So they're catching the house slowly on fire.
Right.
And Evolver just is like behind like they're all walking out of the room. But of course, Kyle is the last one to walk out. And Evolver's just behind the bedroom door. Like there's no way to like, he just magically teleported behind it and locks everybody out. He's like, I'm going to fucking kill. He's like, bonus round.
Yeah. Oh, is that what he says? I missed that.
He says bonus round or bonus stage. And he starts trying to kill Kyle again.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Oh, we did bypass one part because I have the quote written down when Kyle and Jamie are running around the house and Evolver, the camera zooms in on him. This is before he's defeated, but the camera zooms in and Evolver just says, don't fuck with me. And I'm just like,
yeah,
man, that was in a trailer, but he said like, don't mess with me or something instead.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but Evolver's in the room with them somehow. And this is like the desperate robot. He's like, whatever, not electrocuting him, not shooting at him. I'm going to choke the human now with my robot hand.
With my grabby hand. Which also, too, this is a Dumb and Dumber situation where like he puts that plate on his chest and it's just like, what if he would have shot him in the head?
Yeah.
Like
anywhere else.
Yeah, it just reminds me of Dumb and Dumber. It's just like, what if they would have shot me in the head? Well, that's a chance we were willing to take.
And every other attempt at killing or victory or whatever, Evolver did try to shoot them in the head or near their head with the knives, with the ball bearings and everything, but not this time.
Not this time.
But Kyle defeats him with the modified laser tag gun that's now just a laser gun, and Evolver explodes, and they go out of the house, and everything's fine and dandy, right?
Right.
Yep. They, all hop into the ambulance, Jamie and family, and then CEO of Cybertronics rolls up, and big businessman guy, and everybody's like, wait, you work for Cybertronics. You're the CEO of Cybertronics. And they start, like, flooding him with the cameras and everything, and he says, you want to say it, or should I?
Well, he goes, like, he's like, where are the people that live here? They're like, they just went left it. Like, I really just wanted to be like, did you not see the ambulance? Like, come on, man.
Right.
But no, then we pan up to the room and we see the little Battlestar Galactica visor, and it's still going.
Still
and
red.
I think it's and then we go into Evolver's view, and it says "kill not confirmed."
Yeah, static.
And then it ends the movie. Yeah,
with very somber music instead of like, yeah. This is exactly how the movie Stealth ended.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That famed AI stealth bomber movie with Jessica Biel and Jamie Foxx. No, literally, no joke. I saw that movie in theaters. It was a day when a buddy and I walked in, and there was only one other or two other people in the theater, and we riffed the whole thing and watched that movie. I barely remember any of it except for the end, which is just the wreckage of the AI ship. And they slowly go through the rubble and eventually see a red, like what was the eyeball of the jet, and then it illuminates red again to show that it's not dead. I'm like, that's exactly how Evolver ended. What?
You're the only person that like, that's exactly how Evolver ended.
Yep.
Some people are like, what?
The
like
music,
I said, though, this movie is pleasantly. It was a pleasant surprise. I was like, this wasn't bad.
Yeah, I unironically, this is my favorite video game based movie that's not based off a video game.
Yeah, it's just based off of like virtual reality, and like, if you're listening, like, it's on YouTube. Just go watch it. So, and if you really like it, buy you a DVD copy.
Yeah, buy you one, and it just search Evolver movie because it's the most generic name that you're not going to find it otherwise. Rotten Tomatoes.
You have to do that on YouTube too.
Yes, YouTube for sure. Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't even have a tomato meter, but the audience score is 44%. I don't even. There's not even any.
IMDb gave it 5.6.
Whoa! Out of
10.
Out of 10. Okay, yeah. So
it's not bad.
Hey, it's better than Game Over. It's better than House of the Dead for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to like see if they're. I wanted to. Okay, here we go. 5 out of 5. Altered E says the worst cyberpunk movie ever made. It says volumes that the robot gets the best lines of this alternatingly cringeworthy and disruptively riotous screenplay. A lot of ass pulls in the plot. What? Especially when trying to explain blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Silly, but Ethan Embry and a robot. Ethan saves the day, gets the girl. Basically, the perfect movie. 3 out of 5. Someone calls it the mini Terminator. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Good stuff overall.
Could you imagine if Arnold voiced this? If he voiced Evolver?
That would have been great. Oh, here's a good one.
Still not confirmed.
Yeah. I'll cut your fucking throat.
Yeah, don't fuck with me.
Andy C. says, one of the greater naff 80s films made in the 90s I've seen as of late. The murderous little fellow is quite charming, really, with his mixture of robot straightforwardness and things he sees on TV. I swear I'll cut the bitch's throat. Oh, Evolver, you scamp. That's
what I like about this movie too is there's no besides the virtual reality stuff, there's no like CG, like it's not like the Ed 209 from RoboCop where it's just like stop motion kind of like looking weird stuff. No, This is all practical effects. Like they built Evolver in every form, and he looks good. Like this movie, like we said though, like this movie's not going to win any awards. It's not like number one in its genre or anything like that, but it's still a fine movie. It's a good movie. Like you can still watch it and have fun with it.
Yeah, it's still on Rotten Tomatoes. There are reviews as recent as 2016.
Wow.
But one of them here, it's a half star. The whole comment is just, what the fuck did I just watch? So
those are people that have not seen messed up movies like we have.
I don't think so. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mentioned that I saw this on Sci-Fi Channel and then years later tried to hunt it down and find this movie. If you want a low-budget war games, a little bit of Terminator, a little bit of hackers, I guess. I don't know. But I unironically enjoy this. I mentioned it before. I will happily give this 4 broken computer monitors out of 5. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I was skeptical. I was like, I don't want to watch this movie, but I'm kind of glad I did because otherwise anybody to do a podcast with, first of all. So.
Right, yeah.
But because just availability issues. But no, I was happy that I watched it. I don't think my wife would have been very into it, so I'm glad I watched it alone. But no, I'm not gonna. I'll just say watch it. There we go. Watch it.
We pretty much described the whole thing, but you still got to enjoy it for yourselves. I think. What a way to kick off the new year and a new sideshow year and podcasting year and everything. That's really all I have to say about Evolver. I enjoy it, and you should watch it and cosplay it, because maybe then we'll see it at MagFest, cosplay it as Evolver. When this goes
watch
up,
it with a friend too.
Yes, watch it with a friend for sure, because it's so bad that it's good in a lot of points, but it's also, it has enough of a budget that it's not like you can sit through it. Like
$5 million budget.
Yeah, like I could see MST doing this, but it's a watchable movie on its own, or like a riff tracks of it or something. But it's still it's still entertaining enough that like Game Over. When we watched that, I could not sit through it a second time. It was just bad.
I got a copy of it, and I'm like, nah, I'm still like, I got a digital copy of it. I'm like, nah, I'm good on this. I don't want to watch this.
Yep, nope.
Was that Maximum Surge? Is that what it was?
Yes, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure Chris Powell is the only one that owns a physical copy of it. And it's probably not even legit.
I thought my choice of Jingle All the Way was a little skeptical for the sideshow, and then I saw a little bit of that. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good with my choices.
Yep, for sure. So this goes out to the public on Friday, goes out to our Twitch subs and our patrons Wednesday. Thank you so much for the support. But when you hear this, if you hear this Wednesday, we'll all be on our way to MagFest. If you hear it Friday, we're already at MagFest. And if you hear it after, MagFest was great. But... So
we won Windjammers tournament, and Killer Bee, we just won everything.
Yep, we did it. We took away the show, the whole thing, money. We won Evolvers showing up at each of our houses. We won everything.
We got arcade cabinets with Evolvers in them.
Yes, exactly. So, do you have anything else to say about this movie or at all before we sign off?
I'm good. Like I said, just give it a watch and try to enjoy it with friends.
Good stuff. We will be at MagFest, so try to find us there if you feel like it. We'd be happy to talk about this movie with you and nothing else. Only find us if you've seen Evolver. No. But, we'll keep talking about movies. We'll happily take some recommendations as well for what to watch or play. Playing-wise, we want to keep the games related to Sega as much as we can, or loosely anyway. Movies were a lot more...
branch out.
Yeah, movies, though, we're a lot more flexible on, so we're happy to...
I really want to watch. There's this movie I saw over the week. Apparently, it has something to do with the Aliens franchise called Galaxy of Terror.
Oh, yes.
And I'd never seen it before, but I think we need to watch that.
That's on the list. Class of 99 is on the list. We're going to find some gems, some real gems, and hopefully we're culturing everyone and just bringing attention to the real things that people need to experience.
The movies that aren't the Avengers and your superhero movies. Like there's still goofy movies out there that still give you pleasure in one way or another.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what Zach was trying to sell with that disc. But after watching this, I wanted to watch Gleaming the Cube and can't find it anywhere. So that
I've never heard of that. Gleaming the Cube?
Yep. Christian Slater, Tony Hawk's in it. It's a skateboarding movie. It's wonderful.
You sold me.
Yep. Tony Hawk's character is just named Buddy, I think.
I thought it should have been the Hawk.
Should have been. He wasn't that yet. I think that's going to just about do it. We'll keep watching these great things. So with me today is going to be hanging out in Turbo Play is Corey, a.k.a. TornadoeJones.
Kill not confirmed.
And I have been Scotty Moe, and I don't fuck with me. Something.
Or you'll cut the bitch's throat.
Yeah. Restart, insert coin. Imagine if Evolver is just running around yelling insert coin. Yeah, that's okay.
That's for Revolver.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're out.
We're going to start production. See ya!
Later. Up, over, gone. Stuff. Bye. I'll figure out a sign off eventually. Oh boy.
We'll get it. No, it's great. I love it when that we do the same thing with Scrubbers. We're just like, whatever, let's do it.
Fade the music. Play it. Hit stop the cue the
Play
music.
me out, Johnny.
Yeah. All right, Evolver, sing us out.